Alright, I gotta do a report, at least short one, or as short as I possibly can, on the Webbot. And the thing is, it's 38 pages long. I'm only going to read a few pages. Number one, I can't read the whole thing to you. The guy's, he sells it for $10 to recoup a lot of his bandwidth fees, and that it costs him to run these massive spiders that he puts out there to scour the internet for these data runs or whatever. It costs a lot of money. Some serious bandwidth, server equipment, etc. So obviously he has to charge money for this. $10 is laughable. But even so, if you want to read the entire report, and I recommend you do, pay $10. www.halfpasthuman.com. halfpasthuman.com. But I'm just going to read a few pages anyways. But that's it. What we think we know about November, the November hot date, and the tipping point forecast for the 8th through 11th or 12th of November can be summed up easily. So what follows is a brief view of some of the pickets in the tipping point fence. A species-significant event relating to the coagulation of the abstraction of paper debt of all kinds will emerge in November, causing a planetary currency crisis to play out over the next few months. This will change the planetary perception of how the world operates. This change will be more significant than all of the elitists' false flags and bogus wars or rigged elections of the last 60 years combined. All of the tipping point linguistic sets occurring after November 8th contain some subset revolving around the dollar coagulation or currency destruction. Do not be fooled. The currency destruction wave will wash your old life away. Be prepared to be a currency castaway. And that last two sentences are in bold. Solar system level changes will impact Earth. The terrestrial civilization of humans will be altered by the direct and indirect solar system changes. These will include sudden catastrophic climate change, food crop crises, oceanic disruption, and atmospheric chaos, as well as the mundane, such as 1,000-year floods. The solar system will apparently provide a disaster sample pack that will participate in the November tipping point. Little disaster sample pack. I like that word. That's cute. The sample pack is due to start arriving on or about October 27th, which again is that 87-day tackle I spoke to you about a couple times now. The good news is that the Israeli mistake language is not growing as fast as it has in the past. This may be meaningful, though not necessarily in a good way. We note that one of the constraints against the Zionist attack on Iran will soon be removed, and that is the stability of the global economy. Plus, the stock of jet fuel purchased by the Zionist Israelis from the Americans a while back with American aid money has a finite operating span. In other words, the fuel and stuff that they purchased by the tons of fuel getting ready for something a few months ago can't last forever. It'll spoil, whatever, it go bad. Well, not spoil, but you know what I mean. It degrades rapidly once the process begins. So, if it is to be used, the fuel, obviously for a war, the sooner the better, in their case. Thus, the drop-off in growth of the language sets could be due to either the fading emotional energy being given to the attack or to the nearness of the event. We will know soon enough. A very disruptive and unanticipated social shock and political disruption is coming to the US of A. The social and political shock to the system is not related to the elections, at least directly. It will surface after the elections. It is coincident with the dollar death. It involves the crime cabal of the Federal Reserve System, as well as the number of very senior people in the upper minion classes. The speed of the shock going through the American social political system will produce a what the F moment for most of the populous US of A as well as much of the rest of terrestrial humanity. All of this, okay, let me start over. The speed of the shock going through the American social political system will produce a what the F moment for most of the populace in the US of A. As well as much of the rest of terrestrial humanity. As of this is expanded upon in what follows. And it goes into something else. I'll just read you the first part of it, and then I got to go to another page. A spooky temporal marker pre-echo has emerged with the recent stories about the large earthquake drill for police in Britain. The exercise involved large numbers of personnel, many hundreds of fake victims, and a scenario went toward reaction training to an 8.0 earthquake, or as local officialdom put it, a near Haiti-like event. There were a number of articles about the training in the British press, some rather critical of the spending of so much money on a probability so low as a major earthquake event, especially during such time of economic hardship as we are now enduring. And he says, additional note, only 8 people have been killed by an earthquake in Britain in the last 1,000 years. Which makes you wonder, why are they preparing for massive earthquakes if 2012 is just going to be another walk in the park, etc. All you have to do is look. It's right in front of your face, just as this mentioned. And I saw that story too the other day, a little while back. So the question arises, even within the more tamed mainstream media, why? Why indeed? And the language clues slipping out from the minor minion classes of the British establishment may be providing a reason, scalar or hyperdimensional weapons. As has been noted in previous SHAPE reports or Webbot reports, there is some potential that the next great global war currently scheduled by the powers that be for some time this year, with our thinking focused on November 2010, just may, slip right through the nuclear weapons and pass on to scalar warfare. Keep in mind about Lindsey Williams, the video I just did yesterday, which I actually uploaded this morning, and what he said about the Department of Homeland Security head telling her friend that knows him, and the friend told him that she told this chick, as soon as you get back from this thing over the weekend, you need to get 6 months supply of food and water for your family immediately. Something big is coming, and I can't tell you anything more than that. Again, it could be hearsay because Lindsey Williams, elite oil insider guy, did not tell him that. So you do have to take that with a grain of salt. But when you look at the Webbot report, you look at other things, you see stuff building up, you see the news about Department of Homeland Security all of a sudden urgently worried about a cyber attack. Now they're like on big time guard all of a sudden. And wouldn't it be convenient? Let's just throw this out there. Iran got hit with the Stuxnet virus, whatever that was called, right? Their nuclear power stations had a problem and all that, and they were pissed off and blamed it on Israel or the U.S. So let's just say something happens. The internet in the United States and Britain goes down. Big time virus. Oh my God, something big happened. Who did it? Guess who did it? They're going to tell you Iran did it. Because Iran wanted to retaliate to whoever gave them the Stuxnet worm on their systems and brought their systems down. And you're going to hear, oh, it was probably them retaliating, and we've traced the IP addresses back to Iran. We know it was them. Again, there's always an enemy. There's always an enemy. When the economy is in the tank, and saying the economy is in the tank and what's coming over the next year or 2 years is going to be an understatement compared to the economy. The worldwide financial system is collapsing. If you think World War I and World War II was a good reason to get out of the first financial problem of the 1929 stock market crash and the following early 30s that was devastating, if you think the war then was a good idea, it actually is, because it does actually work somewhat to get you out of economic crisis, as well as make other countries pay for weapons and pay for other things to bring their economies down too, just to fight you. Of course, we are all waking up and we realize this nonsense, but the average person has no clue. And there's not enough of us who do have a clue to make a difference, so all we can do is sit back, watch, make predictions that are more than likely right on the money or close to it based off of the tools we use, like the Webbot, Lindsey Williams, reading what's out there right in your face, etc. And we're going to go to war here shortly. And again, Lindsey Williams said the war with Iran will be taking place very soon, within months. 3 to 5 months, it's going to happen. Could happen this November. They may find, due to whatever happens in the elections, oh my God, we got rid of our best guys. Pelosi is gone. Harry Reid's gone. Christopher Dodd's gone. Barney Frank is gone. Oh my God. We have got to get the war going now. We've got to get this going now. And the next thing you know, a day or two later, the 8th comes, 9th comes. Boom. Some big event, cyber thing happens. Rockefeller's Cybersecurity Act goes right through Congress. Done deal. Already ready, signed. Now you have the Patriot Act of the internet. Everything you do online is now going to be sent to Department of Homeland Security or the National Security Agency somewhere. And again, if they see you typing something, sending an email, you might be labeled, and as McCain's bill he's trying to pass, an enemy belligerent. You get no rights. You get no due process. You don't go to court. You don't see a lawyer. You're an enemy combatant as far as they're concerned. And the proper term they used was enemy belligerent. How much nonsense is that? That's nonsensical of statement. Enemy belligerent. Anyways, back on track here. So that's it for that part of the report. I'm going to page 24 and 26 now, or 24 through 26. The education crisis of 2010, which, by the way, let me stop. I just read an article a few days ago. 85% of college grads, recent college grads, are now heading home to live with mama and papa.